Adventure bikes are all the rage. Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor have an awful lot to answer for. However, if you really only get your tyres dirty once or twice a year, what you really want is adventure style in a road bike, like these three machines. So the BMW S1000 XR, the Ducati Multistrada DVT, and the Aprilia Caponord Touring, the machines we have here, are perfectly happy being slid around on good gravel roads. However, they are more at home on the bitumen.
Only the Aprilia comes with panniers, and that's because it's the touring model Caponord. There's also the Poverty Pack Strata, which doesn't have the bells, whistles, panniers or price tag, and the Rally, which is the one to take off-road. The Multistrada here is the base model with the optional touring kit, comprising centre stand, panniers and heated grips. There's also the S with fancy suspension, instruments and bigger brakes, and other kits of bits. Ducati's big news for 26 is the Multistrada Enduro, which is the one you want for off-road. BMW decided to build something new for the segment, going with the 4-cylinder S model platform rather than the flat twin R models as the basis for its adventure-style road bike. A good plan, for as much as the GS range are capable on and off-road, building a performance version would have been a challenge, to say the least. So the Germans took the engine from the high-performance S1000RR, retuned it a bit and shoved it into a new chassis to create a bike more comfortable, more versatile, but still quite weird looking. It still looks like an adventure bike, but if you want to get dirty, there are a myriad of GS models to choose from. Panniers are also optional on the S1000XR, and BMW sent it over with the optional top box. So what we've got are three road bikes with long travel suspension, luggage and big powerful engines. They all lose out in the style stakes because it's pretty well impossible to build a tall, long travel machine with panniers and actually make it look good. So Aprilia made the Caponord to be conservative, Ducati decided the Multistrada should remind you of a giant insect on steroids, and BMW, well, BMW let loose too many kindy kids in the design department. So if you buy one of these bikes because you love its style, give yourself a big slap and hang a picture of the Triumph Thruxton R, Aprilia's RS-VR, Ducati's Panigale, or a BMW R9T on the wall and consider your education started. You don't buy one of these to look at the thing, except what you see from the pilot's seat, which should be the scenery going by at a fast clip, because they are all capable of eating the miles all day, at speeds which can get you into serious trouble with the flashing blue light brigade. However, the comfortable seats, cruise control and flexible power plants don't require high speeds, so travelling at the speed limit is not only achievable, it's actually enjoyable. For that sort of thing, the throbbing V-twins in the Aprilia and the Ducati were relaxing, while the busy four-pots in the BMW less so. In fact, the BMW is geared too short, revving far harder in top than it needs to. There's about a squillion horsepower in there and it's an incredibly flexible power plant. You can drop down to 70 km an hour in top gear and wind the throttle on and the XR will pull away cleanly, all the way to its top speed, well north of 200 km an hour. But at highway speeds, you'll have to put up with high-frequency vibes through the tank, foot pegs and bars, depending on the gear and the engine speed. And it makes the engine feel more frantic than it needs to and less relaxing than it should be. But droning up freeways is what you do when the destination is more important than the journey and should be avoided wherever possible. Get off the multi-lanes, over-policed and incredibly boring freeways and onto the natural terrain of these three beasts, the potholed, poorly maintained, twisty back roads Australia is famous for. Now the longer suspension travel starts to earn its keep. The flexible engines drive hard out of the tight corners and the boots start skimming the bitumen. And here's where the BMW really starts to excel. Its fancy pants quick shifter shaving a few hundredths off your lap time. Now, you might be wondering why BMW installed a quick shifter to this bike. Well, probably because they could. The thing you need to know about the quick shifter is that you can forget most of what you learnt about good clutch use. Apart from starting, stopping and low-speed manoeuvring, a BMW quick shifter means you don't have to use the clutch lever. Just bang on the gear lever to change up or down. It's easy, slick and makes you feel like you're in the future. Seriously, the quick shifter is fun in the twists. Made me want one on the other bikes, but there's no way in the world I actually need one. but then I don't need 1200 cc's either. Quicker spinning engine in the BMW makes it king of the twists, but not by much, for the Ducati is in the meat of its enormous torque curve and always looking for a way past. But the S1000 XR jumps out of corners with an attitude born on the racetrack. The Aprilia brings up the rear, its rider highly amused by the antics and energy expelled by the riders and machines in front of it as they put in the effort to be a few bike lengths ahead. The Caponord has great suspension and a good chassis, but it's down on horsepower compared to the other two, and that's where it loses out. 125 horsepower makes it no slouch though, and after a day in the saddle you'll be loving the versatility of the Caponord's motor, willing in the twists, relaxing in the transport sections and forgiving on loose surfaces. While none of these machines are exactly cheap, the repayments are much lower on the Aprilia because you'll save thousands over the other two. With panniers and a few bits and pieces, the BMW or Ducati will cost north of $25,000, while the Aprilia is selling the Caponord Touring for just $20,000 right away.
So picking a winner in this comparison, easy. The Aprilia here, it's the only one of the machines to come standard with the panniers. It's got a 24 litre tank, so it's got the biggest range. It's the most comfortable of the lot. There's 125 horsepower in that engine, so it's got plenty of go, good brakes, great suspension, and it just does everything you want it to, and it's the most relaxing of the machines to ride for long distances too. So you want a winner? Here's your touring bike. This is the touring bike winner. However, if you're after a sportier machine, something to really take on the bends, and something that will soak up those bumpy bends like nothing else before it, the BMW S1000 XR is amazing. The suspension on this bike absolutely annihilates bumpy corners. It is just phenomenal in real world, ugly conditions, and you want to have fun. It's just incredible. The engine is sublime. You can just let it go down to such low revs in top gear and it'll just be really smooth and seamless all the way up to its top speed, which is just stratospheric. So here's the bike if you want some sports. This is the winner. Unless, of course, you're after something with a bit more soul. Now, Ducati's V-twin engines and Ducatisti, the people that own them, they're a bit of a strange breed in some ways, but when you've ridden a big Ducati V-twin a bit of distance, you start to understand why. The machine puts a smile on your face. No matter where you're going, no matter how fast you're going, this bike is great to ride. It's got the best set of electronic wizardry out of the whole lot of them. It's got great suspension. It stops really, really well. The panniers are part of the touring kit with a centre stand and heated grips, make it very, very versatile. And it's the sort of bike you'll want to own for a decade, unless, of course, you update it to an even better version, which will no doubt come along in the future. So here's your winner. Or maybe that one's the winner, or maybe the Aprilia's the winner. You decide.